Why does making friends as an adult feel so
What
hard?
should I wear on a first
What the
date?
hell is a form?
But that
Why
hookup
is
was
buying my
not
first
good.
home
So
What do I want my
frustrating.
life to look like in 5 years?
We want to know too.
Since 2012, The Everygirl has been an online destination to help women around the world achieve the life of their dreams. Now, we're excited to bring you the same inspiring content with the Everygirl podcast.
It's Thursday, and if you're like me, you are currently running on matcha, sheer willpower, and a Spotify playlist that's doing a little too much heavy lifting. Today I'm listening to this pop mix, one of those that Spotify puts together for you. It's like Sabrina Carpenter, old school Maroon 5, Cher, and it's kind of giving me the will to live right now. But regardless of what's on your to-do list or what chaos your calendar is serving up this week, we're here together. You press play. And I hope that every time you turn on this podcast, it's a chance to come back to yourself, to stabilize your nervous system, and to remind you of the life that you're working toward and that you deserve to live on a regular basis. So welcome back to our Ask the Everygirl segment, where you submit your questions and we give you some advice and some tough love. Actually, I take that back because tough love is an oxymoron. Like, I do not believe tough love is a thing. I think that love is not tough. It's just an excuse for people to be assholes and not feel bad about it. So I'm taking that last part back. I just give some love, period. Today's question is one I feel deep in my bones. It's something that I am constantly working through and have thought a lot about. This Everygirl writes in, how can I balance school, work, and the things that fill my soul? I feel like I never have enough time. Okay, you actually just said a mouthful there, sister, because this is like the modern dilemma. We're out here trying to pay our bills, build a career, have a social life. God forbid we say mentally stable, remember to floss, and somehow still feel lit up inside. Like, it's a lot. It's way too much. So if you've been feeling like something has to give, or you're constantly feeling like you are a victim of your time, or that time is this insanely limited resource that you are always chasing, it's not because you are doing life wrong. You are living in a world that asks way too much of you without teaching you how to manage your time and protect your energy. I have spent so much of my life feeling like I'm the victim of my time, like I never ever have enough of it. I would end literally every day feeling like I ran out of time. So I have done a lot to change my relationship with time. So I, first of all, could manage everything and feel in control over my very quickly growing to-do list and all the facets of my life that I could manage, but also because I was exhausted, always feeling controlled by this limited resource that I never had enough of. And what I have learned is that time is actually not the problem. Believe it or not, time is not the problem because we all have the same amount of time. We all get 24 hours every single day. We know how much time we have. Time is never in question. So your problem is actually not time. The problem is two things: how you're spending your time and how you're managing your energy. So that first one, how you spend your time. Again, time is not the problem. It is how we prioritize that time that dictates what we do and don't get done. Not being honest with ourselves about that, like feeling like the problem is that we don't have enough time instead of that we're not managing our time. This is often what holds us back and prevents change because we keep thinking we're not actually in control. My goal is to always empower you and make you feel in control of your life. And this trick I'm about to share is going to do that. Stop saying, I don't have time for, or I don't have enough time, and instead say, it is not my priority to. So, for example, when you find yourself saying, I don't have time to work out today, instead say, it is not my priority to work out today. And that is totally fine. There are many days where a workout is not my priority, and work and maybe some stress relief or spending time with people I love, these are more of my priorities. That's fine. but you're just acknowledging that it's within your control. You are choosing to deprioritize a workout in order to prioritize these other amazing things. And that's a great decision. But the important part is, it is your choice. You can let go of feeling guilt about not getting that workout in, because the truth is that it's not that you didn't have time, it's that you prioritized other things more. But if that sentence doesn't feel true for you, like if you find yourself saying, I don't have time to take care of myself, and then you switch that to, it is not my priority to take care of myself, and that doesn't feel right or aligned with your values, like you think to yourself, well, I actually want to prioritize taking care of myself, then that means your priorities are out of order and you need to make some changes. So, you know, those phrases we're always saying to ourselves, I didn't have time to get that thing done today. I didn't have time to go through my inbox, or I didn't have time to make a doctor's appointment. How familiar are those sentences to you? How many times a day are you saying, I didn't have time for something? When we switch it to, it was not my priority today to get that one thing done, or it was not my priority today to go through my inbox, or it was not my priority today to make a doctor's appointment, that's a little more honest, because again, we all have the same amount of time. Every single day, you get 24 hours to do with whatever you prioritize. And again, it's okay when it's not your priority. This is not meant to be a self-judgment thing. My inbox right now is an absolute hot mess. And every night I go to bed like, oh my God, I didn't email that person back, or that person's waiting on a response from me still. And it is so frustrating when you think, I did not have time for that. I am just a victim of my time. So I have to actively remind myself that it just was not my priority to do that. I had more pressing tasks and meetings that needed more of my attention. It was more of a priority for me. It was my decision to deprioritize my inbox. I am not a victim of my time. When we say we don't have time, we act like time is this thing that's happening to us. But when we say it's not our priority, we reclaim our power to choose. If you're like, it was not my priority to make a doctor's appointment today, but I feel like it should have been, I should have made it my priority to work on this big project, that's when you can look at, where was your time spent that maybe shouldn't have been a priority? Maybe you were on TikTok for a few 1-minute breaks throughout the day, and those breaks added up to the time you could have used to call your doctor. Because the reality isn't that you didn't have time. The reality is that you prioritized breaks on TikTok over calling your doctor. Again, no judgment. That is totally fine, because there are some days where I'm like, yes, my priority is zoning out on TikTok because my brain needs that. That's okay. It is just being honest with yourself so that you do prioritize your time in the way you actually want to prioritize it. Maybe you need to cancel the weekly meeting with your team in order to have time to work on the bigger project. Like, it really just comes down to knowing the right order to prioritize. And this mindset shift really helps me feel in control of my time, and it helps me get things done that I want to accomplish, because I change how I spend my time based on my priorities. Because if your priorities are out of alignment with your values, if you're spending your time in a way that you don't actually want to prioritize, you're going to feel drained, anxious, or like you're constantly falling short. That's when you feel like, I'm not getting enough done. But when your daily actions match what matters most to you, whether that's finishing a paper in your class, showing up for your job, journaling for 10 minutes with your coffee, calling your mom, you will feel grounded and calm and empowered, even if you don't accomplish everything on your to-do list, because you know that you chose what to prioritize and what to deprioritize. And then to this next point, that how you manage your energy is the problem. Your energy is your currency, not your time. Think about it. Like, you can have a full 10-hour day blocked for productivity. You prioritize all the right things, plan to get all the right things done. But if you're running on cortisol and half a bagel, you're not going to do your best work, no matter how much time you have. In psychology, there's something called the Yerkes-Dodson law that shows your performance increases with some amount of pressure or stress, but only to a certain point. So this is why maybe sometimes, if you procrastinate, you will do better work because you have a little bit of the stress and pressure on you. But after that certain point, if your stress or the pressure increases after that, your brain literally shuts down its critical thinking, creativity, memory functions. The Yerkes-Dodson law looks like a bell curve where at a certain point, some pressure or stress helps your brain function. And then past that point, it completely decreases. Like the more pressure and stress that you feel, the less you can perform. That's why after a really long day of a ton of obligations and stress, you might find yourself rewatching New Girl on autopilot instead of getting in that workout that you wanted to, because your brain is in survival mode, not self-actualization mode. It literally has taken on too much stress and pressure to handle anything else. So here's the important shift. Stop worrying about managing your time so much and start managing your energy. When you manage your energy, you can accomplish so much more in less time. You can be so much better at your job and get more done during just one workday. You can finish your schoolwork faster and better. You can study in less time and retain more information. You can connect with the people that you love so much deeper and fill those cups in less time because you are so present. Or here's another example. When you have the energy and vivaciousness and vitality, you can get the same effects of a workout in 30 minutes that you would from a 60-minute workout when you're feeling sluggish and drained and unmotivated. I compare this to writer's block. You know those times when you had to write an essay for school, or even you're writing an email at work and you're dealing with writer's block. You're sitting there trying to formulate words, nothing's really coming together. You type out a sentence and then you delete it because it doesn't sound good. It takes you like 20 minutes to write just this one email, or it takes you 5 hours to write a paper. It takes you so much time, and the finished product is like, nah, it's subpar. Now, think of the times when you're writing something and you're just in the flow state. Like words are pouring out of you. Maybe you wrote the most communicative, clear, effective email of your life in 30 seconds. Or maybe you wrote a paper worthy of an A+ in under an hour. Like we all have had this experience of writer's block and being in the flow state, right? So we know that time actually has nothing to do with output. All of us, no matter what we do for work, are either existing in something comparable to a writer's block or a flow state every day. The way that you avoid this block is to change your energy so you can constantly exist in a flow state, so that you do better work in less time, so that you connect more in your relationships, get more of your workouts or meditations, all in less time. Truly and honestly, the best, most effective productivity tip I have ever known is to invest in your energy instead of spending more time. So stop doing things that drain your energy, like scrolling on your phone or meeting up with that toxic friend or sitting at a computer for hours on end. Do things that genuinely fill up your energy. Laugh more often, move your body, eat foods that are medicine to your brain, and you will accomplish more in less time and have a better output. The key to balancing school, work, self-care, relationships is knowing that energy is what enables you to transition between roles. So start preserving and replenishing that energy like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. Here are some more ideas that may help you manage everything you have going on so you feel more in control of your time. Schedule everything in one calendar, all your work meetings, your classes, as well as your workouts or meditations or time with friends. And I'm giving this tip because I am guessing that, like for most of us, it's like work obligations or school take first priority. Or maybe then it's like the adulting stuff like chores or errands. And then it feels like you're running out of time and the rest of the hours you have in a day or in a week is constantly just split up between your relationships and yourself. Stop treating joy like a reward for productivity. It's not dessert, it is the goddamn main course. I think this is the mistake people make when we talk about how energy is our most valuable resource and how important it is to recharge our energy, because they deprioritize the things that actually restore energy. So they think, I have to show up for my classes, I have to show up for my meetings, I have to do XYZ for work or for school. That's my main priority. I actually look at it like I have to show up to this workout or I have to show up with time with friends because that's how I'm better. That's how I can be optimal in my work life. So here's what I do. At the beginning of every week, I write out the things that I have going on that week that have a hard start time, like that I can't move, like client sessions, interviews, meetings, events. Then I add in workouts, cooking time, meditations, time with friends or date nights. I even like to map out when I'm going to watch my Bravo shows, when I'm going to spend time reading. I put all of this in my calendar together, all in one spot. When most people plan their week or they're solidifying their calendar, again, they're only planning and adding meetings or appointments to their calendar, and then everything else in their life gets lumped into the category of if I have free time. Like Tuesday comes and maybe you do a workout if you have time, or maybe you'll decide to get together with friends on Thursday if you have free time. But it doesn't make its way into your calendar, and it certainly isn't as much of a priority as your work meetings. First of all, I've said this before, why I never use that term free time in my vocabulary is because it's really just a sneaky, toxic productivity term that just really means time left over after all the important stuff is taken care of. I try not to use that vocabulary, and I also don't consider time with my friends or my wellness routine as just like the open chunks on my calendar because I do not have free time. I have time where I'm interviewing a guest for a podcast. I have time in meetings with my team and time spent prepping an episode. I have time working out and I have time spent cooking. I have time relaxing on the couch and watching Bravo. I have time where I spend it laughing with my friends. None of it is free time. It is all equally important. When we only add work meetings and appointments to our calendars, we are subconsciously sending a message to ourselves that this is the only category of our lives that is important. Like these are the important things we prepare for and show up on time for. Everything else just gets whatever leftover energy and time there is. So I like seeing everything from my podcast interviews to when I'm watching Real Housewives on my calendar because it is all equally important to me. A workout, being with my friends, a meeting with my team, these are all equally important parts of my full life, and they all are crucial for each other. Like, again, I look at a workout or time with my friends as investments in my career, and I also look at my career as an investment in my well-being because all of these things in my life help me show up with the most amount of energy and creativity and inspiration and presence so that I feel happy in every category of my life. So when it comes to feeling out of control with your time, again, it might be coming down to priorities and you feel like you can't prioritize the right things. So putting everything in your calendar ensures that you get to decide where your time is being spent. And it's the reminder that all of these pieces of your life deserve equal attention. And another tip for you that I think is important, especially if you feel like I have all of these buckets of my life and I don't know how to balance them all. I want you to think in seasons, not in days. Trying to perfectly fit in every single thing every day is a trap. You know that cliche of having it all? I really believe you can have it all, but you can't have it all at once. And we wouldn't want it that way because then we wouldn't truly appreciate or feel or experience everything we have. You can have it all, but thank God you don't have it all at once. Instead of thinking where you're feeling right now or what you didn't fit in today, look at your life in seasons. There will be weeks where school is taking everything out of you. Maybe it's exam week and you haven't called your mom in 8 days. There will be times where work is the main character of your life. Maybe you just got a new job or you're getting an internship and you really want to put your all into it. So these other buckets of your life are less of a priority. And there certainly will be times where your body takes full priority or your relationships are the priority. Like let's say you go on a trip with your friends and your body's suffering because you've drank nothing but wine for 4 days and you haven't gotten work done. That's okay. That's not failure. That's actually what life is supposed to feel like. You have different seasons for these various buckets of your life. Give yourself permission to flow between the buckets instead of feeling like you have to check off every bucket every day. And I also don't want it to feel like this sad thing, like, oh, it's so sad to think we can't have it all at once. I actually think this is a great thing. It makes life better. Like, think about when you've had a really super busy work week. You've been working nonstop, and then you get to Friday and you got to go hang out with your friends and have fun. How much sweeter does that reconnection feel than if you see them every day and it becomes habitual and mindless? Or maybe you have the experience after you've been on vacation and you get home and you get to make yourself a meal full of veggies and your body feels so good and you're like, oh my God, I never thought I would miss vegetables so much. Or maybe you've been unmotivated and you're doing the bare minimum at work because your health or a relationship is taking priority. And then you get this huge wave of motivation and it feels so exciting to get back into your productivity. When we live seasonally instead of habitually, we appreciate every bucket of our life so much more. It's a great thing. It's intentional that we can't have it all at the same time. We're not supposed to. So be okay flowing between the different buckets of your life. When you give yourself permission to not be perfect in every category all the time, you will find that it actually helps you appreciate the categories more. And then the last tip I'd say, like, if all else fails, if you still feel like you never have enough time, trying to make any drastic changes will just overwhelm you. So make tiny, tiny shifts in micro moments. Obviously, we can't always change the job or the school schedule right away, but we can start realigning micro choices. Maybe you decide to get 1 more hour of sleep instead of staying up studying the extra hour. Maybe it's meditating for literally 1 minute, just 60 seconds. If there's a day where you have work and then school and it's so busy, you might have felt in the past like, oh, I don't have time for a workout. And then you stress yourself out about how you're not working out. So instead, do jumping jacks or yoga flow for 30 seconds a few times during the day. If you want to spend more time with your family or friends, but feel in this place of, I don't have time, it will feel overwhelming to think about when can I fit in a hangout with them instead of what's a micro moment I can do. Take 10 seconds to send a text to let your best friend know you miss her. Micro moments, things that take 10 seconds or 1 minute, are actually so much more powerful than you realize. Don't feel like you need to overhaul your routine. Start by making micro shifts and you will feel so much more in control. You'll also realize how much time you actually do have. So those are my tips for feeling more in control of your time. And I want you to remember that the version of you who feels balanced, grounded, and happy, the version of you that has the life you want, is not waiting for more free time. I promise you. She's waiting for you to be intentional about how you spend the time you already have. If you needed to hear this today, let me remind you, you already have all the time you need. Like, we are living in a world that is constantly telling us we are not enough. The problem is not you. The problem is the society that sets us up for constant failure with the optical illusion that we are a victim of time. You know, in the words of Sir Kris Jenner, you're doing amazing, sweetie. I am dying to hear your thoughts on this topic because I am so passionate about this. Let me know in the YouTube or Spotify comments the advice you have for this listener, like what has worked for you when managing your time or what you thought of my tips today. If this episode resonated with you at all or made you think, gave you some good tips, please leave us a 5-star review. Thank you to my girls who recently left the kindest reviews over the past couple weeks. That has truly made my life. I screenshotted from my affirmations folder, so thank you so much. And as always, if you have a question you want answered on air, you can DM us a voice note or just a text at the Everygirl podcast on Instagram. Have an amazing week, and I will talk to you on Tuesday. I hope you
enjoyed the episode, I know I sure did, please do not forget to rate, review, and subscribe. It really makes a huge difference for our show so we can keep growing and bringing the content that you love. If you want more info, you can find us at The Everygirl Podcast on Instagram or theeverygirlpodcast.com. Talk to you next week.